Hello, this is Z with the Group 9 on claims communication valuation, and let's do a brief walkthrough of our interface. So the question we've been asked is, what is the impact of communication delay on claim outcomes? So firstly we have the industry selection slicer here. So you can select industrial 1 or you can select them all. So right now we have everything selected, and and on the right side it is a litigation flag. It means it marks as true or false, which means that you can select a case is marked with litigation flag or not. So here's coverage code on different types of coverages. Once we select the industry we want, for example, I want to do the business services, captives, and communications, and I mark the litigation flag as false, and we have all the coverage code here, and I hit launch button. And after hit the launch button, we're gonna wait for like 1 or 2 minutes. Let it run for a bit. So once the Excel workbook has jumped into the interface, let's take a brief look at the graph section on the right side. So the assumption we take is clients are more intended to file a lawsuit when experience longer delay, and we define the delay time as the report to assign time. So we have the delay time here. And since I marked the litigation flag as false, so let's choose let's have a look at the drop downs. So I choose the accident to close, and you see the changes on the graph section. On the top right is the regression report. So basically we were looking at the R-squared number here. So the R-squared is basically how the model fits the data and how the model explains the data. What we have here is a really low number of R-squared, which means there's such lower correlation with the accident to close and cost. So let's just switch to the delay time. And the R-squared is getting larger, but still not good enough to explain how these two are correlated. And so a good number for R-squared is like 60% to 70% above. And the best R-squared we got from any aspect is 3%. So here's is like 0.048% is pretty low. And this is in the case that the litigation flag is false. So after I put the litigation flag true and false, which is selecting all, and we have the regression table right here. So there's a trend line right below at the bottom of the table, which is not showing any relationship between these two variables. And we have the R-squared is still a pretty low number. And what we have left is a time trend and claims by quarter, claims by the day of the week. And we can also select the date of the density table. We do let's see the report date. Let's say report time. And the business hour from our definition is from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is the peak of the report, and as we expected, there's a few reports off business hours and few reports on weekend. And what if we put the litigation flag as true only? Let's try that. And hit the launch button. Let it run for a bit. So after we put the litigation flag as true, we have a table right here. On the right side is still a low R-squared and a not really fitted simple regression between the delay time and the cost. On the left side, we have a pretty average distribution of the day of the week. And we can see no matter there's litigation flag or not, we have lawsuits on weekends, no matter what day is it, and the time still the same. Let's see, report date, report time. It's pretty much the same distribution as what we expected. That's another aspect we have concluded that there's no impact of communication delay on claim outcomes. And we have created a tool for you to do the further analyzing of data in the future. And so the source is connected to our web query. It is pulling data from the OneDrive folder we have shared in the group, and which can be updated through direct uploading of data. And we have the filter data here. When you select everything you wanted in the slicer and hit the launch button, the filter data is basically copies everything you are selecting from the source tab, and it creates a new sheet of data, and we are pulling data from the filter data using the control variables. And on the right side we have the last row of data, which means the last row of filter data we have, which is 118 last row, and the interface is based on the control variable, and we are graphing from everything that we pulled from the filter data. In addition to our connection of data, we click data, then queries and connections. On the right side we have 40,000 rows loaded, and the data source is bacamel.osu.edu, which is our group folder. If you would like to do further analyzing, we are now provided with 4 years of closed case. But if you wanna add a case, you can just add it to this data set and then log in to the query and then refresh it,